Okay, tough to come after a group of very senior people in the industry. Thank you. But let's see. So, some familiar faces from last night. Thanks for coming to the drink. Who left last? Nobody wants to confess? Okay, cool. So, as I mentioned yesterday, it's very loud, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. As I mentioned yesterday, there was a red thread. There's a lot of RCS talk. Naturally, as also mentioned in the talk before, that in Sweden, in the Nordic market, there's a lot of RCS hype at the moment. And as talked about, WhatsApp hasn't really reached the brand or the enterprise market yet, so it's just a lot of RCS. So I will talk a little bit on how we at Infobip work with RCS, but mainly also how AI drives that, and it could be any other channel. It can be WhatsApp or whatever. But since we are very RCS focused here, that will be a bit of my on the agenda. So, so my name is Larsson. I'm working for Infobip since about 3 years. My responsibility is within the Nordic and Baltic markets, and also recently just started working in the Netherlands. And then I'm also working with growth initiatives on a European level for all of our telco partnerships, which is starting to become quite a few at the moment. I'm working out of our Stockholm office. I have some colleagues here, I think. Jelena? Yeah. Where's Jacob? Up there? Yeah, cool. Today, like as I mentioned, I will go through a little bit of what we're doing to actually support brands with the CX journey. Yeah? But before I do that, I'm not sure how much everybody's familiar with Infobip. Oops, this turned out a bit different. Okay, it's missing a little bit of info here. Well, we are a Croatian company that was founded in 2006 in a small village by the coast in Croatia called Vodnjan. But the last 18 years we've grown to now globally have 70 plus offices around the world, covering all of the continents. Our technology in-house built is reaching about 65% of the mobile devices around the world, and we process around 37 billion transactions on a monthly basis now. So it's quite a lot. And all of this and the fact that we have slightly over 800 direct mobile connections has also earned us some recognitions from Gartner and IDC as industry leaders. Okay, so I think we can all agree here, at least, in like Jelena was referring to, or I think maybe Lisa, the bubble that we're in, that we see the revolution of what we need to be doing within customer engagement, and that how we can use AI in that. And with that belief at Infobip, we have really made sure that our platform is up for the challenge. And we've combined all of the components that we have, so everything from channels and software to AI, and everything that's necessary to really create a great customer experience. But why is this and why is it important? Just to take a quick look back. So I think we've talked for a while about the customer experience, but we also need to turn to talking about RCS, the conversational experience. So what does it really mean and why is it necessary? Well, like I was saying before, yesterday was the IRL experience. We wanted to meet people. To some extent, we still do, depending on the age group we're in. But today we look more to the digital tools. We want them to be close to us. We want them to be simple. And we want them to be used the right ones for us. We set the standard, not the brands anymore. Because tomorrow we want everything at our fingertips. And we don't only have the debacle of is RCS enabled, all of that, but we also have demographics or data that shows that Meta, for example, is saying that 73% feels bothered about the generic spam. They want it to be personalized. Customers are frustrated receiving inaccurate or irrelevant messages, and the conversations say that 67% prefer message a company rather than calling. So with this, I think we can all agree. I had a personal experience just a couple of months ago. I went to buy eyeglasses. My first time I had prescription-based glasses. Did the test, chose the glasses, and they said it can take up to 6 weeks. And then 1 week later, I see that the brand is sending me a text. So I'm like, wow, they're already done. I open it, and it says, you know, it's important to keep keep track of your eyesight. Right now, you get a free test of your eyes if you buy a pair of glasses. So I think we've all experienced this. They should have known that I'm already a customer. I actually just invested about, I don't know, 1,000 euros the week before. So we have all of this. We have all of this data. But on top of that, we have also this demographics that we need to consider. So if we're looking at, take Gen Z, for example. So born between 97 and 2012. So we're talking about age group between 12 and 27. And today, they actually make for more than 30% of the world's population. 30%. And 2025, this survey says, which is basically now, we believe that they will make out for 27% of the world's workforce. So obviously, there's a lot of adoption to be done here. Because they have an attention span of maybe a 4-year-old. Everything needs to happen within 8 seconds. So if you're not there, then you will lose them. There are a couple of examples, such as if they're choosing a bank, the first priority is that do they offer mobile banking? Otherwise, it's even higher on the list than the actual fees. So they really want everything at their fingertips. I was talking to a colleague the other week, and she was saying that we were talking about something, and I'm like, let me Google it. She's like, you Google? And she was 25. She's like, I never Google. If I don't get it from the brand, then I'm not searching for it. If you want my business, you should contact me. So this is really something that we really need to get used to. So when it comes to demographics, the span is just getting bigger on what we need to do. Yeah? Trying to keep it a bit shorter now. This, with all of this, of course, then means that we need to pull ourselves out of this fragmented way of communicating and instead need to go to like a true omnichannel conversation experience. And it's very important is that, as I mentioned before, we want to be in the driver's seat of what is that channel? What should that be for me? And it might be something totally different to somebody else. So how do we do it? Well, we believe that it's with Gen AI and with rich conversational messaging. And this is why we're investing heavily in both of these areas. So with these two mega trends, the rise of the Gen AI and the business messaging, we really think that this will push the communication to the next level. And it could be any type of rich messaging, of course, but RBM being the focus in our region. The data speaks a little bit for itself. This is a survey done by McKinsey, who actually did a whole report on this, called The Economical Potential of Gen AI. But I think that even if we're talking about, I mean, this really proves that it's not just the end user, the subscriber, that really wants the full conversational experience. I mean, we can see that for brands, for us in the industry, it's really, we can really benefit from that as well. So what does this really mean, the rise of Gen AI? Well, I mean, when we looked at, we have done a couple of pilots, 10 to 12 of them, I think, with some telcos in the US and in Europe. What we saw was that not only the great response from the subscribers and the end users, was that we saw a great increase in productivity in the sales. It was done through effective automation. It was done through making the products more personalized. And then when it comes to the optimization and the productivity, this one was more on making sure that content is correct, it's generated in the right way and in a quick way. And NPS. This is, of course, a significant improvement, what you can do with quite little measures. So, how do we do this? Well, we truly believe that it's with RCS. So, when we did measuring the numbers between Q1 last year and this year, we saw a staggering 811% traffic improvement. So, traffic, RCS traffic on the platform. And we have seen that the last years we've added a lot more carriers. I mean, the speed of adding carriers have gone up quite quickly. I'm hoping it won't stop there. I don't see Tim anymore, but he said it wouldn't add so much more this year, hopefully not. But there's also things such as why we believe this. I mean, we're also doing a lot of WhatsApp, for example. But we also see that WhatsApp is putting some blockers, starting to do that, implementing that in a couple of countries, where they they're setting a restriction on how many business messages or commercial messages that you can send to the consumers. So with that, and with, of course, Apple joining the party, we think that these numbers it's just the beginning, actually. But in order to take us from where we are now to the next level, how do we do that? And we think that the answer to that is chatbots. Yeah. When we think about chatbots, it's usually not a positive experience. We've all had the rule-based ones that don't really offer any flexibility. I mean, it has great limitations and lacks a lot of awareness. But of course, it's good for some stuff, like location, store locations, order trackings, or like searching for hotels and stuff. Then we have the intent-based one. More personalized, you can do more with it. It has a lot better intent recognition, but still the ambiguity persists. So instead of doing all of that, we would like to see that we're doing this instead. And now I'm hoping I have better luck. Okay, cool. So still using some of the, how should I put it, standard bots. So there's no sound because this guy is speaking Croatian, so it wouldn't make much sense. Now the user is challenging the bot. So now we're going into total different space. Okay, so this company is called Lacko. It's a Croatian insurance company, and they wanted to see how they could reduce agents' tickets and the time spent on tickets by agents. So yeah, you see the numbers. This is what we did. So this is the first actually customers that we have that is using the Gen AI bot. And as you can see, it's also not on RCS. This is a WhatsApp case. But since 1 month ago, we can do the exact same thing on RCS as well. And we've started looking at a couple of brands who wants to do it, but we don't have a done case. But I really wanted to show this in the sense of, you know, you can get the basics in there, but there's also alternatives where you can take the side steps and where it gets more humanized. So they can actually answer, well, basically anything. Let's see if we can go to the next one. Thank you. So this was all done by an AI assistant. So it has much more flexibility, more adaptive in the way of the responses, and it feels like human-like. You get the instant feedback, and it really, I mean, it covers all of the questions that you really need. And if it doesn't, then it will actually take you straight to an agent if you really need to speak to somebody. Yeah. So what is really the AI assistant? It's a conversational chatbot, and it's powered by Gen AI. And I mean, it engages and enhances the conversation with the customers in a totally different way. The experience is so different. It's easily integrated to the platform, and it's obviously both time and cost savings with the fact that you don't need to engage so many agents anymore. I wanted to show a little bit how it's done as well. So the way that we handle this is through our automated AI orchestrator, basically the brain. So what this does is that it orchestrates any incoming question, requests, queries that a company has. This orchestrator looks at what needs to be replied to, what the actual you need to respond to, and it drags you to the actual bot that actually can help you. So if it's just a store locator, for example, it doesn't have to be the AI assistant. It can be the rule-based chatbot. If we're talking about, for example, if we're talking about telco scenarios, so a customer comes in and contacts Tele2 and wants to buy a new iPhone and add more subscriptions for the family or something like that, this orchestrator would send them straight to an agent, because this is obviously a phone call or somebody that you actually want to talk to. But you might have an issue with your phone number and, yeah, basic rule-based chatbot. Or you have questions about pricing policies or payment terms or stuff like that. That orchestrator would drag you to an AI assistant instead. So there's a lot of different bots that can be used, but it should only be handled from the top. So it's really one bot that covers the federation of all the bots underneath. Yeah? Okay, so this is a RCS case. Let's see. Okay, so an example of how you can humanize the retail experience and actually use different bots. So this was the orchestrator sending the customer between the rule-based and the intent-based. So the use case here, what did it do? Well, it shortened the path to purchase by supporting as quickly as possible with the requests from the customer and a really contextual dialogue. And it never needed to go to an agent. So when you're using AI together with these channels and the rich features that we have, it can really, really enhance the experience even more, but also like really save money and time for the telcos, the brands, or whatever, whoever is the customer. And this is the same a little bit from a banking perspective, making it as human-like as possible, helping with stuff like financial advisory, recommendations, and also like give really straight and 100% correct answers to the questions that you might have, which is of course even more important when you're talking about verticals such as BFSI and so forth. Yeah? There are a lot of different scenarios that can be used, so I will skip this slide because now I think everybody wants to go to lunch. But basically, what I wanted to share today is that what we can do today with AI is something we couldn't do yesterday. And it gets even as human-like as possible. And I think that if we can really incorporate that with the rich channels that we have available, I think that will really, really do great stuff for us in the future. Yeah, thank you.